like I don't want it to be male.
I know some people are like that. We're not. We're camera wars.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're watching. It's at the end, by the way.
Do you guys have any questions about Sailor Moon or even just the process of doing what we do at all? Anything that you...
Of course you do. Yes.
Craziest fan you've ever had?
Oh, Now, I thought of a great story last night, and I said it to you too. I said, I gotta remember to tell that one. And what was it? And I said, remember it, because I Yes!
I can't remember. I think honestly the craziest one when we first was doing this, I was 21 and I was in San Jose, California at the Red Line Inn, and it was my first ever. I had no idea what I was getting into, and a few hotel room keys were dropped off, and I'm like, that's just weird. You know, I didn't use them, obviously.
Actually, we were at one convention, and this girl was dressed again as something. I don't know what it was. But part of the costume consisted of, you know the hoses for dryers? You know, like that one?
Yeah.
See that nervous look? So it was one of those dryer hoses. It sort of came around her neck like this and kind of crossed over this way. And then across here, she had blue duct tape about this wide. And right here, she had 2 pieces of blue duct tape about this big. And that was it. Literally. And I'm like, she comes over to our little table, and I'm just like, Toby's in the washroom. And she's like, oh my God! I love Sailor Moon so much! I love Tuxedo Mask! I had the biggest crush on him, and I said, oh, he's gonna want to meet you. He's in the washroom, and I'm gonna make her wait until he gets back. And she, of course, would happily wait. So she's like, oh my God, she was very, very outgoing. They were actually going to kick her out of the pond because she was naked. She was naked! Except that blue duct tape. She was
When I
naked.
saw your face, you're like, I have someone for you to meet. And
And
of course I'm
for you.
like, okay.
But before he gets there, I said, you know what? He's definitely going to want to meet you. He says, oh yeah, you love this. So I see Toby, and I'm just smiling like a Cheshire cat. I was like, hey, I've got somebody you're going to want to meet. He's like, oh yeah, really? And she's like, oh my God! I'm freaking out! Can I have a hug? And he's like, I don't know where to put my head.
And we're expecting our first child. No, no.
That's a big fan.
Oh, yeah.
What is your favorite scene from Sailor Moon and why?
Day in the elevator for me. I think it's episode 34 version. Day of Destiny, when basically Darian and Serena, find out their alter egos, and awesome.
There's a sneaky person.
I love being drunk on juice. That was fun. I love that one because I kind of got to go off and do my own little thing on that, and it was just fun. I love what she looked like in that. She looked just puffy and hungover. Relate to it. I also love doing the serious ones, like at the ends of the series when it's really like, when all of her friends are dying and they're lying around her dying and she doesn't know what to do, and it was so powerful to do, and so you really do get into it and you can just feel everything. And you're just, I'm watching it and doing it, and just like you're just breathing her, and it was very, very emotional. And of course, I didn't know how it ended, so I'm doing it and watching it as I'm like literally acting out and watching the show going. Oh, it was really, I loved that actually. I think I probably liked that the most.
You didn't finish saying what happened in your first panel.
Well, actually, at my first panel, everybody went nuts. They were unbelievable. And the love that came through was shocking. Shocking. I was just, what? You do know that I'm not Terry, right? We are clear on that, everybody? amazing. And what's really funny is I have 3 teenage daughters. I do not recommend that for anyone. And they're, let's just say they can be challenging at times. And they went to that convention. I said, do you guys want to go? And they're like, oh, yes, whatever. And so for them, I'm their mom. I'm nothing special. Zero special. Zero. Like I'm just like, make me my breakfast room. Let's go. And so when they got there, and I mean, I didn't know what to expect, and they sure as heck didn't know what to expect. And they're sitting there going, what is happening? And you know, they don't tell their friends that I'm a Sailor Moon. No, that's on a need to know basis, and nobody needs to know that inside. What does your mom do? She just does cooking. She'll make you lunch though, yeah. And so at that first panel, I remember very clearly them coming in, sneaking in sort of at the back, and they were at the very, very back, and they're sort of standing there going, and everybody's like screaming, going crazy, and you know, doing everything, and I'm sort of up there going, okay, being me. And then as it's ending, one of my kids goes, Mommy, you know, just to get my attention, and so everyone. And I was like, oh, look at that. My daughters are all here. They're like, oh, don't do that, honey. Yes, I am. But they got rock stars that week. So that's how that panel went. Anybody have another question?
I know that you guys get a lot of fan mail and emails and also like comments and stuff. So what's one of the strangest things that a fan has ever sent you?
Can I tell? Can we tell the one about Susan?
Yes.
Sailor Jupiter. She often does these with us.
Some green love back there.
And she is awesome. Sailor Jupiter is a very awesome woman. She is like my idol. Like that when. Look, I'm doing all the talking.
Do it.
Are you alright?
Sailor Moon, go. I come in every once in a while say, believe in yourself.
That's right. I can't figure out how the story ends. I'm just gonna throw a rose down.
That's right.
So, how does this go? So, first of all, look, I don't even know where I'm going with this story. First of all, when I was in theater school, we had a voiceover course, and they brought in this guest speaker to come in, and as soon as I heard this voice, I went, I know that voice. Oh my God. I know everything we've done. Oh my God, I know that voice so well. Kind of like probably what you guys are like, but that's a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I was just sort of like totally fangirling on her. And every word she said, she talked about the voice industry, everything she said, I was just sinking and drinking it all in like, okay. And she talked about the difference between doing a little boy voice and a little girl voice and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And that woman was Susan Roman, who played Sailor Jupiter. And then years later, I got to work with her, and I'm just like, and now she's a very, very good friend. So, getting back to the weirdest thing that we ever got, Susan got a letter one time. It was sort of shaky-ish handwriting. And it said, Dear Susan, I have been a fan of yours for a very long time. Enclosed is a $5 bill, a $5 bill. If you would please take this $5 bill, go to the store, buy yourself a pair of underwear. Wear the underwear for a day. Please do not forget it. And then mail it back. And it was to an old age home. She's just going, what am I gonna do? So I believe she took the $5 bill and mailed it back and said, I'm sorry, I will not be doing this. Thank you for enjoying the work, my body of work. I would put that as one of the weirdest things.
But what Linda doesn't know is the true story is Susan called me and I bought underwear.
Bacon strips.
Wow.
What?
Crazy.
Okay, this is going nowhere.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
what are the challenges, not just with your voice and everything, but with actually recording, the voices and the script? Like, what are some of the challenges? Like, I know you can't really make a lot of movement or anything like that when you're behind there. So
Yeah.
are there any other challenges?
I mean, technically speaking, yeah. I mean, if I was to go in a session, I'd take off my rings, or just because this would jingle maybe, or that hat backwards because you don't want the sound to kind of hit the brim weird. Like you don't go in with a K-way suit, you know, that kind of thing. But you know, for a lot of it is challenging because you don't want any other sound to come through, but you have to be, you know, mobile in a certain way, because if you don't, like you were talking yesterday in the panel, if you don't move your hands or whatever, that's because you know how you naturally like look at me, you know, like I talk to this, it's hard to express myself, and definitely when you have a dimension lost, being just you're missing the vision, you have to kind of add a little bit more to the dimensions that are there. So the voice needs some power behind it, and body language will come through. In fact, you can hear if someone is smiling through a microphone. A lot of the times you'll be doing a read, and someone will say, "Yeah, that's great. Can you just put a smile on that?" And you'll go back and you smile, and it brightens up the read completely. Like, "Hey, how you doing?" Right? Or like, "Hey, how you doing?" There's this thing that just kind of naturally kind of develops, and I think for me one of the major challenges doing anything behind the mic is really trusting your gut and knowing that what you're doing is you got to commit, because you can't half a voice or half a performance because you're shy or you're worried it may not be the right choice. Make that choice, even if it's a bad choice, make that choice, then they can move you somewhere else. They can say, "That's great, you know what, go a little older, or go a little younger." But if you waffle, you can't do anything with that because you have no basis of judgment. I think that's my hardest thing, is to know if I'm actually delivering what they're asking. You know, like last week I had to do a 6-year-old